Hi everyone, my name is Cris Bertolucci. I'm a knitwear designer and teacher from Brazil. And for a long time, I did work as a trend reporter for knitwear for a website here in Brazil. I think I worked for for 3 years. And ever since I do love going and looking for new trends and new things in knitwear. So yeah, I do love it to even find inspiration for my own designs. I am a hand knitter, so I like to do patterns, but I know this works well for knitwear designers, for everybody. What I like to do is doing this report from fashion shows. It's not very conceptual, it's more technical. I do love like being more hands-on techniques and understanding more like techniques and going further into what makes a difference in the seasons. So what I have now is a presentation with a few things I think were more, it's supposed to be highlighted this season, which is autumn and fall and winter 25, 26. And the shows, I think they were between February and March. And a few things I loved, and I want to show you one of them. I've already designed my own. I love bows and I love seeing bows on the runway, so I'm pretty happy with it. So I will start showing you um, my presentation. So here we go, the fall and winter 2026. I use WWD, Women's Wear Daily for the database for everything I do. And then I save everything in a Pinterest page. You can have the Pinterest here. I'll leave the link below so you can access all the pictures and all the collections. I do like to give like highlight to a few of the collections that did work with knitwear in an interesting way in the end. So to start, I don't think knitwear was like a big didn't have a big part. I think it was always like a supporting part of collections. We did have a lot of, I mean, all collections always have knitwear, but it's hard to see a collection like highlighting knitwear as like the main design. But a few collections did. I think a few of them did. Um, so for this presentation, I'm going to focus on yarns, patterns, shapes, and details. It's like really sum up. We can find a lot more things. So like I said, you can just go to my Pinterest page and find a lot of things there too. So I'm going to start by my favorite piece. I think this is the piece that sums a lot of trends and a lot of things in one piece. And that is the Chanel sweater dress. First of all, I think the one thing that makes it very special is the bow. We see a lot more bows in, I think, in tailoring in the runways. We do have a lot more bows in tailoring, but I think bows are a huge thing. Look at me. And I think bows are really a huge thing, and we should pay attention. So first of all, I think bows. Second of all, I think this color kind of like stands out from the other colors. But what I really love about this design is having this like maxi lace. When we think lace, we usually think like small pattern of laces. They're really small. And I love how big this lace is, how it seems like we maximized one lace. For hand knitters, you know, it's just like when we knit, it's just like a 4, 5 rows repetition or something small. But this looks like a big thing, and I think that's very modern and very cool to think about. And the shape is one of the shapes I love, is this sweater dress. Prada did as well, but I think Chanel, I'm not a huge fan of Chanel, but this is a must. I love it, I think. And using like a thicker yarn or like bringing this like heavyweight yarn, but making a lace that is so delicate, I think it's really cool. Then let's go to yarns and talk about yarns. I think a huge comeback is Angora. Angora comes from the rabbit Angora, and I think we are seeing a lot of Angora coming back. That means having more like hairy kinds of yarns, and it can be more playful. We cannot work so much with like different patterns and stuff, but I think it's a good comeback. I do love Angora. We do have similar yarns, but I think it's a huge comeback. You can see more pictures in my my Pinterest page. I'm just bringing like a resume. Another thing I like is this melange kind of yarn. Is just like mixing. Some of them is just like this yarn. I know Missoni does it a lot. Missoni does use a lot of melange. They do like to create this rhythmic color and pattern and stuff. But I think it's cool that they are mixing up more. Last season for summer, for example, they were more like color blocking. This time they're just like mixing yarns. I do love it. And I think this melange comes to like desaturate colors. They just want to like calm down the colors, which I love. For example, these Paula Canovas del Vaz, these colors you can see when they mix up, they kind of like calm down. Even though they're like very bright colors together, they kind of calm down. So I think we're having melange to kind of like bring down a few colors. Then we're going to talk about patterns. The first pattern that I love are checks. I love checks, and I think they're coming with I think these three brands work this amazingly. One of like the major conceptual trends people are talking about is this like boho comeback. Anna Sui is from New York. She has her show in New York. I think Anna Sui always has this like bohemian kind of design, but I think the checks that she brought is more like a college kind of thing. There is one piece that I love that is like it looks like a twin set, but it's not because it's a dress. But mixing up like the cardigan is a check and the dress is striped, but using the same colors. So I love it. It's the same like Missoni did. I think Missoni, we cannot see from this picture because of the colors, but I think we have like two very dichotomic things within the same place. When we do checks, when we do this kind of patterns, check patterns, we're thinking more formal and strict. We have like different like checks and patterns. They're always like so strict, and you have like a way of working it. And then you have the melange kind of yarn that is more, you see this more like artisanal kind of yarn. So I think it's mixing ups and lows, which I think makes a very, very cool kind of composition. And I think checks are coming for compositions as well. Here in Iceberg has a very nice knitwear collection for everybody who wants to check it out. I think Iceberg did an amazing knitwear collection. And I love how they work like a big kind of check. So I love these patterns. I think there is a lot to work with it. The English rib comes very heavy. I think it always does. It does come to like to adapt machines into looking like very heavy kind of yarn, or more like heavy kind of stitches. But I think it comes in different ways, like Phoebe Philo, Denzel Patrick, and Missoni. They do bring more like heavy kind of, they want to bring like heavier kind of things, or like bigger kind of work. So it looks amazing. I think shy cables, that's what I call. Cables came besides the next slide we're having, but I think cables are coming very shy. We came from a very sporty summer. Summer last season, we have a lot of sporty kind of designs in knitwear, especially because of Lacoste. Lacoste is having a very commercial kind of designs, and they had a very kind of like golf and tennis kind of thing. So we do have this more kind, this small kind of cables. So I think cables, even for Alexander McQueen, I think everything McQueen does, the brand does, they just want to maximize all the details. But still, I think it's very shy. It's just like, I think it's because in I don't know if it's the same color or it's very shy cables. They're not standing out or big or like different patterns. I think the cables are coming more shy. Besides, of course, Moncler. Moncler has an amazing collection also, and they are working also shy cables, but they're like bringing cables everywhere. Moncler is a brand that works a lot for ski. I think their brand is very based on ski, on like winter vacation, winter sports. And I think it's amazing that they have a lot of like cables worked in a very different way. I think that the cables, they coming like they are doing the fabric. The cables are just the main fabric for them. And it's beautiful to see the whole collection and looking at the whole thing, all the cables together. They don't look as much as looking at one piece. So, but I do think cables are coming really shy. It's not like the maxi, for example, the maxi lace from Chanel. I think it's coming on just like making a small texture on the fabrics. Then we have a lot of ways of working jacquard. I know we always have jacquards, but I think we have a lot of ways of working it, a lot of different ways of working it. Paula Canovas del Vaz, I think another like major trend that I see that is coming a lot, especially because of Marni. Marni had last season and this season, they're coming very artsy. They're coming like color blocked. They're coming with like chic patterns and stuff. And I think this is one way of working jacquard, is doing like very constructed kind of jacquards. They're not as playful, for example, as Fiorucci. Fiorucci is a brand that is having a comeback for the last few years. They're like trying to bring back the brand. And it's very youthful, very playful, very colorful. Even though you can have artsy and colorful, I think Fiorucci is for having fun, is having like prints, is like having like this Miami-based kind of thing, while Paola is more like chic and like a drop of ink. Etro is known for having very, very ethnical kind of designs, and I think they bring that a lot in their jacquards as well. Also, we do have, for example, Moschino having a more, I don't know, vintage feeling for the jacquard. We have like very traditional patterns. So I do think it brings a different look to traditional patterns, but this very, very traditional kind of jacquard. And MCM, GM, they do bring a more like monogram kind of thing. It's just like bringing words and big words and big bold kind of types. And so I think these are like 5 different ways of working jacquards that I think they're very important for the season. And then I love this, which are the multi-patterns, which is having a lot of patterns in the same in the same garment. For example, Chanel did 2 different kind of, like I say, the shy cable. They did do 2 different kind of shy cables, but to work in different colors, for example. So they do like to show that they have differences. Antonio Majas, he went crazier with it. It's just like mixing up a lot of patterns in the same garment. So I think this brings a very patchwork kind of feeling. And Iceberg, I think, did kind of like Chanel, but I think it brings a little bit of like tones down a little bit, but it does work. For example, all the whites are worked in cables, and now the reds are working more like traditional patterns or traditional like more smooth kind of way. So I think multi-patterns is really cool and really nice way of working it. Then we go to shapes. One thing is bringing the vision to the shoulders. Louis Vuitton did amazing. I was just going crazy to trying to figure out if this is weaving or knitting. I do believe it's knitting. If it's not, it is supposed to be done in knitting because this garment is amazing. And I love the shape on the shoulder. I love all this volume up here. So I do love this drop shoulder. I do love this volume. I love this neckline as well. I think this is an amazing piece. This would be my second favorite piece. I love it. Sportmax did it as well with like a huge neckline and this shoulders as well. And Issey Miyake just like it does bring a lot of volume for the whole thing, especially with the collar. But I think this drop shoulder and very this higher armhole, it does bring a lot to the shoulders as well. Another thing is the heavy coat. I think Missoni is working. I don't know. I didn't read what Missoni thought for this collection, but I feel like, I don't know, somebody who is living in the woods but it's really cool woods. It's just like upstate New York, maybe. And then they have these very like earthy colors, but a few of like playful things, still very well constructed pieces. And I see a lot of this like heavier coat. It's doubled. It's just like a heavy coat. Iceberg did it as well. So I know we have like two coats on one, but it's just bringing like a heavier feeling to the knitwear as well. I love the sweater dress. My third favorite piece is Prada doing both. Again, bows. I didn't even bring to the details because I thought I think bows are just, it's a lot more in tailoring, but I think Prada and Chanel, they have the bows. And I love this sweater dress, this dress that is a little bit bigger, a little bit longer. And you can even wear with like pants. I think I've seen a lot of sweater dress being worn with like a pencil skirt or like a skirt that is like more a straight skirt over the knee. I think it's amazing. Issey Miyake has some very, very, very interesting things as well on his collection. So I think you should check it out too. And also Chanel has a little bit of this sweater dress. A few details I've noticed is having embellishments and appliques. I don't know, having flowers embellishing or having like patches like this embroidery patches from Moncler. They look so cool. They kind of like have a conversation with their jacquards. So like I said, Moncler is a collection you must see. Also, Fendi did this like fabric appliques with like a few I don't know, stones and bright things. I think it's amazing. We can see a few brands doing lace appliques or lace embellishments as well. So I think embellishments are having a comeback. I feel like these collections are very end of the 90s and beginning of 2000s that we had very, very classical kind of garments, but they were worked like you had a very classical garment that is worked afterwards. So you have the embellishment and other things. Another this Lacoste, like I said, Lacoste is having a very commercial comeback, and I love their collections. This applique is just amazing. I love it. At first sight, when I saw the white version of it, I thought this was like a jacquard or like playing pattern, but then I saw this is like embroidered and applique and all of this. Antonio Marras did like lace, a few laces and flowers and everything. Tory Burch, this is not an applique, but this is more like a disconnected kind of jacquard, but I think it just brings this feeling as well. You could have like an applique or something that would look the same. And then the last thing I want to bring is sublimation printing, which is a very end of 90s and beginning of 2000s as well. And bringing like different patterns and bringing, especially like I said, the artsy kind of feeling, having this very, very, very abstract, or having a few things like Blue Marine is doing. It's just like flowers, a few flowers or other things that you can see. So this is just a resume of what I was pretty much looking in fashion shows. Let me know if you agree or if you don't. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video and send this video for somebody else who loves knitting as well, for companies. Like I said, I did work as as a trend researcher, so I have a lot of expertise on the thing. So if you want a more a deeper kind of trend research, just let me know. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's wait for next season. Bye bye.